NDTV reported that the Indian Oil Corporation did a deal with a Russian oil company to buy 3 million barrels of crude oil. The Financial Times reported that India imports 360,000 barrels of oil a day from Russia. Daily Mail reported that 3 British Special Forces veterans were killed in a Russian airstrike in Ukraine. In April 2018, Dilyana reported that the Bulgarian journalist confronted a US official over a $2.1 billion secret military biolabs program. Victoria Nuland confirmed this in a Senate hearing recently when Marco Rubio brought the subject up. CTV News Vancouver reported that a boat owner refused to remove his Soviet flag from his boat. The Press United, Currency Live, Investigist and RT reported that the ruble rose for 6 days consecutively after the sanctions. It rose to 105 rubles per dollar and 115.5 rubles per euro. Al Mayadeen, the Washington Post and the Daily Beast reported that Wahhabis have left Syria to fight for Ukraine. According to United Nations statistics, African countries rely on Russia and Ukraine for wheat imports from Eritrea for over 30% of its wheat imports, the West Benin and Somalia for 100% of their wheat imports. Daily Star reported that a military convoy of 6 nuclear warheads travelled 400 miles from Reading in England to Glasgow in Scotland. Britain is preparing to use Trident. This is saber rattling against Russia. BBC reported that Madeleine Albright died. This was Clinton's Secretary of State, who said that over 500,000 dead Iraqi children was worth it in relation to the containment sanctions. It should be remembered that Putin's first foreign visit was to Downing Street in April 2000, as Britain saber rattles with Russia. The Independent and the Daily Mail reported that Joe Biden advocated a new world order at the Business Roundtable. This has echoes of Bush Sr. after Desert Storm. Let's go, Brandon. The Washington Post reported that Madison Crawford called Zelensky a thug and that the Kiev regime is incredibly evil. He's entirely correct on that. YouGov poll reported that 39% of Britons oppose a no-fly zone, 28% of Britons support it, 49% of Tories oppose it, 26% of Tories support it, 34% of Labour opposes it, and 32% of Labour support it. A Reuters and Ipsos poll found that 74% of the United States supports a no-fly zone. Terrorism and civil society as instruments of United States policy in Cuba by Socialism and Democracy, NED and the Empire's New Clothes, and inside the covert operations of the CIA and Israel's Mossad all show that the NED, the National Endowment for Democracy, is an arm of the CIA. Metro and the Kazakhstan News reported that Mario Tehran, the killer of Che Guevara, has died. His cataracts were cured by Cuban treatment in 2006. Mondoweiss reported that the White House spoke about Ukraine resisting occupation while Congress sent $4.8 billion to Israel. Reuters and CNN reported that Facebook and Instagram allow incitement of violence against Russians, and The Intercept reported that Facebook allows praise of the Azov Battalion and neo-Nazis. The Sun reported that a British soldier went to Ukraine to fight for Ukraine, was hit by rockets. He was tortured by Ukrainian territorial defense, who thought he was a Russian spy. He was released and he went home. NATO, despite the claims of imperialists, is not defensive. It has killed over 2.7 million people, 1,874 in Transnistria, and 212,191 people in Afghanistan, according to the Conflict Data Program, 140,000 in Yugoslavia, according to the Humanitarian Law Center, and 2.4 million people in Iraq, according to Salon and Code Pink. NBC News reported that Goldman Sachs profits from the war in Ukraine due to a loophole in the sanctions against Russia. Euronews, Bloomberg, Axios and ABC reported that Russia is the world's most sanctioned country. The Free Press Journal reported that Zelensky has banned 14 left-wing and socialist parties in Ukraine. The Daily Mirror reported that a Ukrainian doctor told his staff to castrate Russians as they are cockroaches. That has echoes of Rwanda there. Multipolarista and Business Insider reported that the CIA director admitted waging an information war against Russia. ABC and the Associated Press reported that a Georgy Zhukov statue was torn down in Kharkiv. The Toronto Star found that unvaccinated Canadians are 12 times more likely to believe that the Russian military operation Ukraine is justified than Canadians with free vaccinations. Because conducted the opinion poll. CGTN reported that Zelensky combined all TV channels to one platform for a unified information policy. Sure, that isn't authoritarian at all. Yahoo and the Washington Examiner reported that China told NATO that they don't need lectures from the abusers of international law and that they'll never forget who bombed their embassy in Yugoslavia, referring to the bombing of Belgrade during May 1999. There are over 37.5 million Ukrainians in Ukraine, according to the Ukraine state statistics. Liberals assert that there are only 8 or 12 or 8 or 10% of Ukraine's population are Nazis. That would mean between 3.5 million and over 3.7 million are Nazis. Svoboda got 10.44% in the 2012 election. Svoboda is the political wing of C14. It used to be called the Social National Party. Before 1998, it was in the last words coalition with the All Ukrainian Political Movement, which was exclusively for ethnic Ukrainians. Svoboda had an electoral pact with Fatherland, whose leader Tymoshenko incited Russian genocide. Fatherland got 25.55% of votes in the 2012 election. The Patriots of Ukraine National Core Party got 2.15% of votes in the 2019 election. The Ukrainian National Assembly won 3 seats in the 1994 election. It also won a seat in the 2002 election. It is the political wing of Right Sector. Right Sector was formed from a coalition which included the Social National Assembly and Patriot of Ukraine organisation. The Social National Assembly created the Azov Battalion, and over half of Azov's members are in the Social National Assembly. Right Sector won 2 seats in the 2014 election. They got 30% of votes in each constituency that they won. The Congress of Ukrainian Nationalists was set up by emigres of Stepan Bandera's Organization of Ukrainian Nationalists. It won 6 seats in the 1998 election as part of the National Front coalition. It won 2 seats in the 2010 election, and it won 17 seats in the 2020 election. Truthhounds reported that Ukrainian forces routinely torture people. RT and the World Socialist website reported that a Ukrainian TV presenter quoted Adolf Eichmann as he called for the killing of children. Zelensky has $1.2 billion in the Dresdner Bank in Costa Rica, and he has a $34 million villa in Miami. Oil Price reported that China did a $10 billion deal on petrochemicals with Saudi Arabia. Press TV reported that Iran suspended talks with Saudi Arabia over rapprochement. The Cradle reported that Iran targeted 10 Mossad operatives with a strike on a base in Erbil, Iraqi Kurdistan. Al Mayadeen reported that Iran dismantled a terror cell of 3 in South Khuzestan. The Independent reported that Provisional Sinn Féin wiped years of statements off its website. If you aren't going to sell out and have nothing to hide, why do you need to wipe the statements? The Independent reported that Sin Street School changed from English medium to Irish medium due to Dublin's Gaelic vibe. Belfast Live reported that Jim Allister said that Stormont will never be the same again if the TUV win. The Irish Times reported that Irish international rugby player Andrew Trimble said people in the Free State are not ready for United Ireland. Irish Central reported that 3 million people are descended from now of the 9 hostages. The BBC reported that Belfast's Court of Appeal found that the protocol was lawful and legal. ITV reported that 6 internees had their convictions quashed for the long cash escape. Irish Central reported that St Patrick was from Strathclyde, which was a Brittonic kingdom at the time, hence why his name, Malwinsocket, sounds Welsh. Sunday Life reported that a loyalist drug dealer fled a car crash with bags of cocaine but left his girlfriend behind. He is a member of the South East Antrim Ulster Defence Association. Daily Mail reported that a British man was shot dead in front of his daughter in Mexico. Reuters and the LA Times reported that the Israeli Knesset banned Palestinian spouses. The First and Newsmax reported that Donald Trump won a libel suit against Stormy Daniels, and Al Jazeera reported that 23 were killed and 28 were injured in a Ukrainian strike on Donetsk.